what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Behind the Group podcast. I am DJ Keo.
And I am Basil Barrington, and we are back with another Foundation review. Episode number
Yeah.
4, Where the Stars Are Scattered Thinly. IMDb gave this a 7.5. What do you think about this 7.5? Is that on point or what?
It's definitely like it's preparing you for what's going on. Like a lot of these shows have been getting you ready for what's coming. So I think it's kind of low because the show was good. We learned a lot from this episode.
Yeah,
Like the foundation is moving forward considerably. Like they made their plans, and we've learned that the Foundation has better technology than the Empire, which is fascinating to me.
You know, last week,
but I think that was inevitable because they took scientists with them to Foundation.
Foundation let them take scientists with them. You know.
Yes.
Exactly. You said something last week. You said you were talking about how when with the 20th Fleet, and they were talking to the woman who you thought was a spacer, and I was like, I wasn't too sure. Yo, on the new ships that the Foundation have,
they don't even need spacers.
They don't even need spacers, dude.
Yeah, you don't have to get into a pod. You just put this thing on your wrist, you're good to go. Yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy. So they are way more advanced when it comes to technology compared to Trantor in the Empire.
And weapons, too, because we haven't seen new weapons yet. So they got it, because they said they're preparing for like 100 years for war with the Empire.
Yeah.
So, they got to have some good stuff that's hidden. That's just like a surprise. Yo, hold this real quick.
Man.
Like a say hello to my little friend kind of stuff. They got to have something over there we don't even think about yet.
It is about
Plus, they had those giant ships. The giant
Invictus.
I forgot Invictus. Yeah, they got those giant ships they've been building too.
Yeah, they've been building. They have more than one, so it's like wow, they have 4 or 5 of these joints, and they can just
those things
like
destroy planets. So it's a problem.
Like when Bell found out that Brother Content was wearing the wristband, he was like, "What?
The
they
aura.
Have this?" Yeah.
He was like freaking out, like, "Oh snap!"
He was like, "Yo," and the guy was like, "They also have these ships that can just like basically blow up an entire planet. The Invictus is a planet killer, like they said." So this is getting real interesting, man. I'm serious. This is it kind of reminds me a little bit of Silo because you're not getting the bang bang, you're not getting like the space battles, all that. You're getting really good content.
Yeah. Yeah, it's thought provoking. Like when they went inside the cube and they're trying to figure out what the hell's going on there. Like that's it. I love the technology that's on this show.
Yeah.
Like you gotta think about how far, because we're there thousands of years in the future, the stuff they're capable of doing. Like you're moving molecules around, kind of like Star Trek, where it's like time dilation is in the cube. There's space. It's like Doctor Who. Because like you get into the telephone booth and there's a giant spaceship in there, and it's kind of what they did with this thing here. It's all this stuff fascinating to me. I love shows that they bend what reality could be in the future for technology, what's possible. I love this stuff. So yeah, man, and we've moved the plot along greatly too.
Yeah. Well, when they were in the cube, Harry was basically saying, yeah, it's food, it's molecule. I'm a molecule. Everything's a molecule,
Yeah.
So it was like completely crazy, So, yeah, man, this is very interesting. The queen of the Dominion.
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
What is up? Now, it seemed to me that she is just she's playing the entire Empire.
Yeah, but she's not pulling the strings though. That She Bends Light chick is pulling the strings. She's really the one that you need to watch out for. Because the queen seems to be more worried about like what happened to her family and whether or not this is a good idea for her. But like she doesn't even want to do it. Her aide, the courtesan, whatever, she's the one that's running the show.
Rue.
And she said she has her heir. Yeah, what's the Asian chick? Where's the name?
Rue. Her name is Rue. Her name is Rue. No, She Bends Light is.
Wait, which one's the other one?
She Bends Light is the woman who was on Belle Roche ship. Sheban's life.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's Rue. Rue's the okay. Yeah, sorry.
Now Rue Rue betted like Cleon the 16th, if you remember. So
yeah,
dude, they've been like like we were saying offline. The interesting thing about this episode is the amount of infiltration that other like sort of planets and everything else have been doing against the Empire.
Yeah.
This stuff has been happening for generations.
Yeah, because you have people who, they're loyal to the Empire or whatever, but they want a paycheck. They're sitting there in the palace watching these guys, just do whatever they feel like. And you're like, yo, screw these guys. Like, I want to get paid.
Yeah.
And these things go falling. Or you have the attitude of, it's all the same. It doesn't matter who's here. Or your attitude is like, go, I want to get my money before this thing falls apart.
Yeah.
And so like you're susceptible to, people infiltrating your cabinet, your government, your royal guards. Because like those assassins couldn't even get in there without help. There has to be help.
Yeah, exactly.
It's impossible for these guys to get these close to these dudes without help.
And they also knew that he didn't have his aura on,
Yeah.
So
and they knew when to do it. It's a bunch of stuff.
So
things that you shouldn't have privy to.
The infiltration is very interesting. You want to give a brief overview, then we can just get into the nuts and bolts of this thing?
Yeah, so, we're dealing with 2 sections. Well, 3 sections, really. So you have Harry Seldon. He's on Foundation inside his matrix or whatever the thing is.
The vault.
It's like the vaults. Yeah, but like it's basically a matrix. It's plugging this guy's brain into the computer.
It's the Prime Radiant, basically, when they walked inside.
Yeah. So they're inside the computer at this point. So we have that storyline. We have Bell and his husband going down to the planet, which is weird to me because why would these guys ever leave the ship? You're a general. You're the most important person on this ship. Why on earth are you leaving this ship? You should be up there telling some guy to go do that for you.
You send number 1 and the security officer down, like they do in Star Trek.
Have you not seen Star Trek or Star Wars or something? Like, come on, bro. That's not something you do yourself. You send somebody down there, but I guess he wants to get back into action. So we have that storyline, and he's learning about what the hell's going on with Foundation for the first time, and it's blowing his mind. And then you have Empire with the Queen, or as a Dawn talking to the Queen, and he's learning all kind of stuff. Because, he's like, yo, why is Dave marrying you instead of me? This doesn't make any sense. Because Dave's going to be he's going to be a grandpa soon.
Right.
Don't you want the long lineage for this thing? Like, no, instead, stuff's not adding up. For Dawn and Dusk, both of these guys they're starting to recognize that Dave's doing something completely away from the team.
Yeah.
And they're starting to look at Dave differently. So all three storylines, they're all good storylines. There's no boring parts or like, come on, man. Like, hurry up and move along so we can get to the good stuff. All these 3 storylines push the story forward. So that's basically the bulk of what happened.
Yeah, man. I watched this episode twice. One with subtitles, one without.
You need subtitles. This is helpful.
Yeah.
Especially with these weird names. Like, you need subtitles. I'm
serious, and I was like, okay, this is pretty interesting. So let's start with the Queen and also Dawn. Now, it seemed to me that, she's just using her abilities, 1 as a queen. I also think 2 as someone who has been around when like I guess the Dominion was like, creating all these different sort of like plans to infiltrate the Empire. So she knows about this. And, it seemed like she's using her sex appeal to sort of get what she wants from Dawn. You think so?
He hasn't done much stuff, man.
Yeah.
He's a rookie still, so he don't know anything. This couldn't work on Day or Dusk, but Dawn, he doesn't know anything. So that's I think that she's trying to talk to him. And I think she's trying to see if Dawn and Day and Dusk are really one person or they have multiple personalities. Which I think she kind of verified that they're in a different space. They're not really the same. Like they're trying to tell everybody they are.
What's kind of interesting to me is why the Queen is so hell bent on trying to find out if Cleon the 17th killed her family. Now, the reason why that's interesting to me is because, one, you know how this stuff goes. You know, if you are the queen or the king, you know, some of your family members may get killed. Her entire family was wiped out. She was the only one left.
So I have a question. Like, when did this happen? Was Dawn born when this happened, or was this before? So it had to have been Dusk who did it. If she was alive when this thing happened, Dusk maybe Day or Dusk did it.
Here's the thing. Dusk is Cleon the 16th.
Yeah.
Day is Cleon the 17th. So Day must have done that when he was Dawn.
Okay. Yeah, no. So Day was Dawn, and so it had to have been Dusk who did it to her family.
It was Cleon the 17th, which is Day.
Yes. Okay. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
so
get the timelines out. Yeah.
It's kind of weird, you know, because I'm like,
it's complicated.
And the other thing is like, why is that so important? Because it seems like to me, the final solution, or you know, the whole plan is to infiltrate the Empire. In order to do that, like 100%, you probably need to marry Day, and now you have the keys to the castle. So even if she finds out that, you know, Cleon the 17th killed her family, everyone, she was the only one left. She said everyone, all the members, everyone was gone except her, right? So, okay, if you find out he is, then what? You're not going to marry him? Then he's going to come and destroy the Dominion? I mean, I don't know. It seems like you got to work with that.
Well, I don't think that, I'm not certain that Day did it, because she says circumstantial evidence. So she doesn't know for certain if Day did it. But because the other thing is Dawn was saying is that there's other people that benefited from her, like your partner there. She benefited from this because she went from nobody to somebody because of it.
Yeah.
So like there's other people that benefit from this thing too. Whereas I don't like. See, the thing is, though, you would need a reason for the Empire's wrath to be like, I'm going to kill your whole family line, and then I'm going to marry you. There has to have been a reason for this.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to, because that's complicated and unnecessary, especially when you're not as strong as you need to be, unless that was the whole point, to get her to be weak to come over there. Like, that maybe. But I don't know. Maybe Demoiselle did it. Like, I don't know. It's possible.
Well, speaking of Demoiselle, we didn't see Demoiselle or Day in this episode.
Yeah, which is interesting. I think this is the first show without them.
Yeah, you know, so that's kind of interesting. And then the Queen, as that sort of segment went on, come to find out that, dude, they have their hands in the Empire's pocket. They've had, I mean, for a really long time, they have informants who are part of the Imperial Guard. They have the Handman, or, you know, I was like, Handman, what is this? I'm like, oh, that's the male version of the handmaid, handmaid. You know, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, this is crazy, right? So they have people in the system. I mean, this has been going on. We know people down in the Scar have been infiltrating the Empire.
Yeah.
Man, you know, and when I saw this and I heard it and I watched it, I was like, when that finally comes together, where all these people that are against the Empire, everything that they've planted within the Empire, within the dynasty, once that comes together, man, that is going to be a bad behind episode.
Yeah. Which, it's going to be an insane episode, which is all the more reason Foundation needs to get their act together and get more planets on board.
For real, man.
So do you want to talk about Foundation section with the two priests or brother Constant?
Yes, and Polly.
Yeah. So we learned that Polly was the kid that was there. That's the first thing we learned. We also learned that these guys are basically going to the planets that are primitive, I guess, wowing them with magical feats with technology, and be like, join the Foundation.
Yes.
And it's going slow. It's going slow. So that's why they want the Hober Mallow to get on board to kind of get things go ball rolling. And also, I guess he's because he's talking about being an enforcer. Like, what's the storyline between that? Like, what's your interpretation about what's Hober Mallow's role for all this?
Okay, so he realizes that because remember, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think the first episode when the blind angels came in and was trying to like assassinate Day, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so when it was all said and done, they were like, you know, the empire is being infiltrated by blind angels and magicians, right? So the magicians are
Mm-hmm.
the clerics. That's who they're talking
Yeah,
about, right? So
yeah,
I
the
think what's
clerics.
happening here is they're like, you know what? Because Harry was like, the clerics go down to Trantor and just, you know,
Mm-hmm.
try to like, you know, compromise with the empire. He
Mm-hmm.
knows that that's not going to happen. So he needs a
Yeah, you
disruptor.
get the backup. Yeah.
Right. So I think like Hobart is like the disruptor. Go down there, create a
Mm-hmm.
ruckus, the whole nine, you know, show like to give both parts of the spectrum, like the clerics
Mm-hmm.
and then the crazy one, the wild one, you know. So I think I think that's what's gonna
Yeah.
happen. I don't think he's gonna go down there and like start blasting stuff. He just wants to create confusion. That's it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right about the confusion thing. Like, he's got
Hmm.
to be the opposite.
Yeah.
So if these guys are order and religion, then it's got to be like chaos on the other
Right.
side,
Hmm.
just to kind of confuse what's happening with the empire. But that makes sense,
Yeah.
at least from that standpoint.
But
So we, yeah.
when
What do
they
you?
go down the
Oh, go ahead.
Trantor, what about the
Mhm.
if the clerics go down the Trantor with the auras
They can't have
on,
the aura.
they can't.
I think they're probably gonna get killed. I
Yeah.
don't think this can work out for them.
Or at least sent to the Inquisitors, you know, to read their minds or something like that, huh?
Yeah, because Seldon was like, "Hey there, go there unarmed and pretend like you don't have any technology. Like,
Right.
they know you have it. Like,
I
it's not
mean,
that's not gonna work."
Belroche figured that out. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like, it took him a couple hours and to jump out of space to figure that out. So obviously, Empire's gonna find this out by the time they get over there.
Yeah,
So I mean,
you
like, they're
know,
going to their doom basically.
mhm. The other thing is who knew that I understand that you're a cleric, you're a religious person, but your
Hmm.
girl brother Constant.
Yeah, she's trying to get busy, man.
She's trying to get busy, dude. She's like,
They
wait a
spent
minute.
10 minutes on let me smash, yo.
You,
You gotta leave, let me smash.
like, can we just get it in before you leave, please? You know? Just like, whoa, okay. Old boy was like, yes, I was going to do that, but I have to leave now.
Like,
You know?
yeah, like later, bro.
She's like, oh, this cleric stuff is so, like, it's just so much. I
She's
just want
like,
to have
yo, we need to
fun.
get it on. Yeah, she's like, we need to get it on real soon, bro. Like, let's do this.
Are you coming back? Yes. Blah, 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 blah. It's crazy. So, you know, Polly is the younger person who was in the first season. And so when
Hmm.
I saw that, I was like, so who's Brother Constant? So I was looking up her
Hmm.
information, and there's no like affiliation between her and like the younger people in the first season.
Yeah, because Polly's pretty old. The
Yeah.
Constance's young, so
Yeah.
she has to be like recent. She's got to be like your 20s or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
She
Exactly.
can't be that old. Yeah.
Which
They,
explains, you know, her wanting to link up with Hober Mallow. Like,
yeah.
I just
So
need to do this now.
like, do this now. It's like Sex in the City.
I don't
So
have time to wait for you to come back.
the other thing that was fascinating to me about Foundation was like Seldon was like, yo, these guys are in the religious phase and then they're gonna transform into something else. And then because like as far as technology goes on the Foundation side of it, all the technology is off planet. They have cool spaceships, they got the ores, whatever, but like they're still in containers, shipping containers. Like they haven't built up I guess they're I think that probably they're doing it like that to keep it low key, rather than if you built a civilization, because that's
Mm,
100 something years, right? That's
yeah.
plenty of time to move to flying cars and whatever else. So, as I'm assuming that they're trying to keep it low key on a planet to look like they're just, we're just struggling just to get by. Sorry, bro. Like that's they get the illusion for people that come by, like, yo, we're in containers. We're just peaceful, whatever. These
So
peaceful farmers.
why was because yo Harry Seldon, man, he was like he was shading what's old boy's name
You get Sumac or whatever.
Simac, yeah, he was shading the mess out.
Cermak?
He was like, "Nice suit, dude. What are you doing?"
Bro,
You
your
know,
suit.
he was like trolling him, man. He was like, "Oh, nice." He said "nice suit" twice. The guy was like, and then the last time he said "nice suit," he looked at him and just rolled his eyes. He was just like, oh, "What an idiot."
Yeah, like, yo.
There's something going on there. There is like some sort of relationship. Maybe he did something that Harry didn't like, that, did something with the Foundation, whatever it is,
Well, so it implies that Harry can hear stuff outside. So he's keeping an eye on things outside of the container, the actual building structure. So yeah, he has to be jacked into the internet.
Trolling the mess out of him, man. I'm telling you.
He's clearly hearing things and listening and keeping data on all stuff.
Yeah.
So that the Hober Mallow thing, it makes sense where he would know who he is, because he's plugged into the Matrix, the internet, the high-speed internet outside of that thing. He's clearly plugged into that, keeping track of things. And I guess that's what's doing the calculations. So that all this stuff's tied in together. But like, he said that, yeah, I heard this guy outside. I was like, screw him. Like, basically, he was like, yo, screw him in the future. I know where this guy's going.
He was like, yeah, that's why he killed the warden. He was like, yo, if I let him stay, then he'd have been like, this is me.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, yo, screw him. So clearly, he's tapped into devices and stuff. Clearly.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. So it's kind of like godlike if you think about it.
I will say this. So when the show started and the ship came and landed like on whatever planet it landed on, right? Yo, the background, man, that looks straight up like animation. For real. Just straight up.
It looked wild.
I was like, this is like a cartoon now. It's just like, I'm like, wow, okay, this like the resolution wasn't that great it was crispy, but the resolution wasn't great enough where it didn't look like it was animation, First little thing I realized throughout the first season, even up to now, like, oh wow, that looked kind of, they got to fix that, So if we go where Belroche and also Glay, and they went down to the planet,
dude, jump out of space. That would make no sense, man.
That was kind of sick, though, wasn't it?
They needed action, though. That's the thing. They did it to do action, but logically, he would never leave the spaceship.
Yeah.
Captain can't leave the bridge. What are you doing?
Nah. Yeah. You gotta
that's not
watch
a thing.
Star Trek. Yeah.
Bro, that's not a thing. The captain doesn't leave the bridge. He's not supposed to.
Yeah.
If you got a ship and there's like 20 people on board, like the original Star Trek, there's only like 100, 200 people on board. Like, okay, fine. But you got a bunch of people on board. This is a giant galactic starship.
This is the 20th fleet,
ain't
man.
No way.
Have a bazillion people on this ship,
Ain't no way the captain is leaving the ship, general or whatever. He ain't leaving the ship. Ain't no way.
Yeah.
You get some new guy out there. It's the first time getting out on a mission. That's the guy you send down there.
Right.
Number 1 and number 2 live in the ship. Oh hell no.
Last week's episode they had some Apple provided some some images, of things. So one of the images was like Bell and Glay or whatever his name is together. Made Glay look really soft, right? Like he was just like really soft, But then come this episode, dude, he is kicking
He's a fire, man.
I'm telling you, I'm like, oh, okay, you can't mess with this guy right here, man. How they went down to the planet, that was dope. That technology was dope. How they went back to the spaceship, that technology was dope. That was real sick. The guns.
The only thing I don't like is I hate nanotechnology on TV shows. We like it's like you pull out a gun and the thing just builds up, whatever. I hate that. And like the helmet comes up. I hate that so much.
The shrouding joints, when I saw the gun come out, I was like, well, if you were like in a serious situation, that gun took about like 5 seconds just to set up.
You're about to die, man.
I'm serious. It was like
ain't no way.
Like a transformer.
I hate that. I hate that it's so overused in TV shows and movies right now. Everything's got a helmet that pops on your head. Like, just put the helmet on your head, man. I know why they do it, but like it's so overused. I hate seeing it in TV shows and movies. I hate it.
But you know what? I think that it's almost like Minority Report with the swiping. That technology is right around the corner where you can just shroud your own self. If you're doing a space walk or whatever, you're like, like if you're an F1 fighter or something like that doing G forces, you just shroud yourself.
I think it would be an aura. I don't think it would be a helmet. I think it would be like some kind of force field around you. That would make more sense. Like this far in the future, we don't need helmets anymore. You have the aura technology that protects you from getting shot and stabbed or whatever. So like that would make more sense. There'll be some kind of bubble force field around you. But even still, like I don't know. It's so overused that every time I see it, I just roll my eyes like, come on, man, because it's being lazy. The VFX just like put a helmet on him, like get out of here.
It's very interesting, man. But that was kind of a cool episode, a cool segment too. Like just the both of them being on this planet.
In the show, so they did the fight. That's what that was
exactly. For. This is, you know what? I am not mad at this episode because, like you said, just another marker, just like brilliant. It's just like, and I think that's why I haven't seen anything lower than a 7.5. That's why I think people are really interested in this. And they're not going so hard like, I'm giving this a 6, a 6.9. They understand what it is. They understand that it's Apple. They understand that, you're going to be fed this stuff on a weekly basis and it's going to be interesting. This is a really good show, man.
Yeah, no, I like it. And I think that they've nailed the Game of Thrones level of palace intrigue, but also like action and other stuff outside away. So like, because Game of Thrones used to have like 18 different storylines happening all at the same time, and you keep track of who's what, where they are. That was excellent. even though it ended poorly, it was still excellent how they're able to keep weaving these storylines. So as far as foundation, they have basically 3 storylines every show, and each of these storylines are good. It's not a Gale is screaming. When Gale's yelling, I kind of tune out. But like,
listen. No.
So far, they got three every show, and they're good. They're good stories. Like I care about what's happening with these people.
Yeah. Gail, she's got to stop being quantized. You get it, quantized. She's being quantized. Yeah, we don't want anyone to be quantized, and she's becoming quantized. So, Gail, you have to stop that.
Chill,
so,
man, you gotta chill.
Episode number 4, Foundation. Where the stars are scattered thinly. What are you rating this episode?
I give it an 8. I give it a solid 8. I'm happy that they're moving the storyline. We're starting to get stuff to be intrigued about. So like them going to Trantor is gonna be a huge storyline. That's gonna be gigantic because I think they're going to jail or they're just gonna off them. There's no way they're walking out of this palace alive.
Yeah. I'm also gonna give it an 8. Like you said, this is a solid 8. I think that when they do go to Trantor, Dawn and Dusk, they're going to just be ornery. Like, let's get rid of them now. I think Day is going to be more interested in them. He's going to be like, well, let's talk. Let's go have some tea. I want to hear more, I think he's going to do that.
Dusk is going to be like, get rid of these guys. Kill them now.
Dusk
let's
doesn't
go blow
play,
this planet up.
Dusk doesn't play. So we both gave this episode an 8. This is a great show, and we are only on episode number 4, dude. Come on. This is dope.
Yeah, I like the show a lot.
Well, there you have it. Thanks for checking out another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I am DJ Keo.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And until next time, peace.
All right.